Hello, I'm Pete Torriello, and I am the co-host of the Sonic Boomers podcast, along with my wife, Maureen. And we are happy to announce that December marks the 4th anniversary of the Sonic Boomers podcast. Hard to believe we launched the show back on December 8th, 2019, and the title of the show was Mixing It Up with Pete and Maureen, and the episode was called What's Everybody So Mad About? It was based on an observation that I made sitting in a diner that people just seemed to be angry about everything, just ready to fight at the most minuscule provocation. And I thought, well, you know what? Let's talk about it. Now, where did the name of the show come from? Well, when we were putting the show together, I had a conversation with a boyhood buddy of mine named Ed Popolarski. And I was telling Ed about the podcast, and he said, well, what are you going to talk about? And I said, well, we're going to talk about whatever we pull off the top of our heads or whatever comes out of our ass. But I don't have a title. So Ed thought about it a little bit, and he said, well, why don't you call it Mixing It Up with Pete and Maureen? Because that's what you're going to do. You guys are going to get behind the mics and you're going to mix it up. And so that was the title for about the first 18 months. And then we decided that we needed something that would hopefully give us a little bit more traction. And so the name of the show was changed to the Sonic Boomers Podcast. Here it is for your consideration, Mixing It Up with Pete and Maureen. Program number 1, recorded on December 8th, 2019. What is everybody so mad about? Honestly, I don't know what everybody is getting so upset about. I just don't know. All that I know is I'm starting to get a little bit upset myself.
And the Pete and Maureen Mixing It Up podcast is next.
Well, hi. Here we are, launching our very first effort into the podcastosphere, or whatever it is that they call podcasting. Anyway, I am Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
And we are a married couple. We're married over 40 years. We are the parents of 3 grown-up kids.
And 3 grandkids who think they're grown-ups.
And we've got microphones, and we're not afraid to use them. This is the Pete and Maureen Mixing It Up podcast. We call it Mixing It Up because every week we're going to be talking about, well, quite frankly, something that's on our mind. We may not even know what it is until we start rolling the recording on the show. So sometimes it'll come off the top of our head.
And sometimes it'll come out someplace else.
Yeah. So
I'm the polite one.
That's true. Maureen is the polite one, and I'm the nasty one. And so what am I upset about? Everybody's upset today.
It seems like it.
Yesterday, I go into the diner. Every Saturday morning, I go to a diner. And that's my little start to this. It's my little treat for myself. And I'm sitting there at the counter yesterday. And this guy comes in. And you know who he looked like, Maureen?
No, who?
He looked like Junior Soprano.
Oh, I remember
Uncle
him.
June, right?
Yeah.
Dominic Chianese. And the guy comes in. He's got glasses and he's got the cap like Junior Soprano. And he's got like a leather coat on.
You sound like him too?
He did. He
Wow.
did. Kind of a gravelly voice. And he sits down. He's got the Daily News.
Well, that's a mistake right there.
And he's looking at the Daily News, and he's mumbling under his breath, right? And he's like, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. And I'm looking at the guy. So finally, George, the diner owner, comes over, and Junior Soprano says to George, did you see this? Did you see the cover of the Daily? Did you see what they did in Florida? You know what some Middle Eastern, some Saudi guy killed 3 of our people and injured like 8 more. You know what they should do? You know what they should do, George? They should nuke them. They should nuke those SOBs because they're no damn good. They should nuke every last, that's what they made the bomb for, George. That's what they made the bomb. So then he calms down, right?
Well, at least he calmed down.
He done for a minute. So I'm having my coffee, I'm having my eggs, and I guess a friend of his walks in.
He had friends?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they stick together. And so this other guy comes in, and Uncle June is up again, gets out of the seat.
Out of the seat?
And he walks up to the guy, and he's like, hey, Did you see this? Those sons of bitches. Did you see this on the Daily News? They blew up 3 of those damn Saudis. They should nuke them all. You know what? If I was Richard E. Trump, I'd blow all these guys up. I'm sick of this. And out he goes. Pays his tab. Out he goes. So I said to George, what is up with that guy? Remember, George is the owner of the diner. And George was the guy that he sounded off to at first.
Right.
And George is like, well, what are you going to, he's a businessman. He doesn't want to offend anyone. Well, what are you going to do? Blah, 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 blah. So the guy finally leaves. And about 20 minutes later, I go out to pay my tab. And I say to the owner, boy, that guy was really, really upset. He says, Pete, do you know who that guy is? Who do you know who the guy was? Got any idea?
No. Who?
Guy is the ex-mayor of the town.
Oh, get out.
Guy was the ex-mayor. Oh, yeah, he was the mayor here about 10 years ago.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, yeah. And everybody's mad. My point is that everybody seems to be at the breaking point about something.
Well, you can get people mad anyway.
Well, I always told our kids when we were raising them, they would be like, I'm mad at you. You're terrible. We hate you. And I would say, well, you know what? Get in line. You got to stand in line to get mad at your father. So get in line with everybody else. But everybody seems to be angry about something today. Like you're at a traffic light.
Right. And, you mean if you don't get your foot off the pedal right away?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
my
the
God.
light turns green.
Right.
And it's like, green light, 1, 2. Yesterday, we were up in Montclair.
Right.
Excuse me. We went up to Montclair. And Maureen was taking an art class for 3 hours, so I had some time to kill. And I said, all right, you know what? I'll walk around town. Montclair's a great little town. All kinds of shops and bistros and restaurants and bakeries, and it's lovely. So I'm walking around, I'm walking down the street. I'm having a nice time. I'm sipping my coffee. And all of a sudden, this guy goes by in an SUV, and he starts yelling, what's your problem, lady? Hey, you, what the hell is your problem? And
Well, what did she do?
I didn't even see her. I didn't see anybody. This guy was yelling at somebody.
An imaginary lady?
Maybe an imaginary lady. So the point is that everybody is mad about something. We went out to dinner last night with our friends. And I knew that we were going to be recording the podcast today. And so I figured I'd throw out some bait. Well, everybody seems to be mad today. And our friend sitting next to me is, and you know why? And you know why? Because people park out in front of my house with the radio going full volume so everybody in the neighborhood can hear it. And then we got into, and then his wife says, well, I think people are mad today because of what the Democrats are doing. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. And of course, me, being the calm, cool, and collected guy that I am known to be, I say, well, have you seen what our president is doing? Mr. Give me a microphone and I'll bully somebody. So, is that such a good idea? Right? So, right away, that could have turned into an argument.
It could have.
It could have.
Good thing they're good friends.
Yeah, they're good friends. And they know that Pete's a jerk and he's going to yell. But everybody is ready to fight. And I honestly think that this country is the most divided that it's been since the Civil War.
Probably. I think you're right.
And I think after that was maybe the 1960s with the Vietnam War. Mm-hmm. That was a crazy time. And now it's crazy again. And one person said, and I don't remember who it was, but it was a few years ago, some public figure made a statement that what America needed was another 9/11. And everybody went nuts.
Well, on the surface, that's a horrible statement.
It is a horrible statement. And people were like, what are you kidding? Thousands of people died. The World Trade Center, blah, 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 blah. The stock market plunged. It was terrible. It was like if the guy said, well, Hitler wasn't such a bad guy. He gave you the Volkswagen and the Autobahn and he got Germany back to work. That's not what the guy meant.
No.
The guy meant that 9/11 brought everybody together. I mean, think back about the way people were treating each other after 9/11.
Oh, it was a kinder, gentler America.
Somebody would actually give you a break to get on the Garden State Parkway.
Unheard of, right?
You know, and they'd wave. They'd give you the peace sign or the victory sign or the thumbs up. And I think the thing was, everybody recognized one thing.
And what was that?
Their own mortality. Their own mortality. And they suddenly came to the realization that there were thousands of people that were taken out of this life in one fell swoop on that day.
Yeah. And I think, too, people kind of got the sense that we're stronger together than apart. And if all of America bonded together against one small faction that was doing this, there was hope. And there was a sense of unity.
Now, where did that go?
I don't know. I think after, it's like anything, if it wanes with time. It goes in your rearview mirror, and suddenly it's not that big, not that present to you anymore.
It was the time where America decided to stop and smell the roses for a little bit. And now here we are. The Democrats hate the Republicans. The Republicans hate the Democrats. The liberals hate the conservatives. It's just crazy. And it doesn't take much for people to get into a fight, into an argument. I had one former friend that I lost over a discussion of the Electoral College.
Now, how the heck did that happen?
And he said to me, the conversation started, I said, we need to get rid of the Electoral College. And he was like, well, you're just saying that because your guy lost. And I'm saying, no, this has nothing to do with who won and who lost, okay? If Hillary Clinton had won it in the Electoral College and Donald Trump had an overwhelming majority vote, I would have said that's wrong. In this case, it worked the other way around. I said, it's not, do I like Hillary? Do I like Trump? Do I like chocolate or vanilla? No, the issue is the Electoral College is not the voice of the people.
No, I guess it served its purpose back in the day, but I don't think it does anymore.
I don't think that any state should have more weight than any other. It should be the voice of the people. One person, one vote. At the end of the day, we have the election. We count all the marbles, and whoever has the more marbles, well, congratulations, Mr. or Miss President-elect. You poor bastard. But this got into an argument.
With your friend.
With my friend.
Right.
And I remember you had jumped on to try to explain what I was trying to say. And then he got all highfalutin about, well, I have a master's degree from Rutgers University in politics, and I went on a full scholarship, and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? See ya. That was the end of the friendship.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's
I don't
a shame.
think you saw him after that.
Never saw him again, never spoke to him again. He bought a new house, and I just sent him a note. Hey, congratulations on the new house. It's a nice area. I wish you the best. Nothing. That was the end. And it was a nice friendship. And as you know, we have some other friends that are on the other side of the political spectrum from us. Mm-hmm. And we can have discussions with them. And it's usually her husband and me that get into these discussions. And we can have a political discussion, and we can get a little loud. It never gets nasty.
No, you're passionate.
We can be passionate. What, Pete? Are you kidding? How could you say? Oh, yeah. Well, how could you say that? But it never gets crazy.
It's not personal. It doesn't
never
get
gets
to
angry,
insulting, or
and
anything.
then at the end we have a big laugh and we say, "Well, you know what? At the end of the day, maybe we're both full of crap."
You never know.
Maybe
that's
we're both.
That's really a distinct possibility.
Gee, Pete, full of crap for once. How do you like that? So I don't know why we have to be. Why we can't disagree?
Why can't we just get along?
Yeah. Why can't we just disagree in a civil way?
I don't know.
Everybody is angry. Everybody is ready to just punch you in the nose. I don't get it.
Well, you know me. I'm not interested in politics really anyway.
No, we were at the dinner table last night with our friends, and Maureen, honestly, and those of you who, and probably most of you do not know Maureen nor I, and hopefully in the weeks to come you will know more about us. But Maureen is the nicest, sweetest, and probably one of the smartest people that I've ever met. And she will tell you that she graduated cum laude. She has a master's degree. She'll tell you she's smart, but I'm saving her the trouble.
That's so nice of you.
But, she is one of the nicest people, and we're having this political discussion last night at dinner, and Maureen looked like she was ready for a stroke.
I was.
She just, yeah. And she's looking at me, and she's going like, get me out of here.
Shoot me now.
Yeah, shoot me now. So anyway, that's one of the things that is on my mind. The other thing that has been bothering the two of us is what is happening to the English language.
Oh, that's a whole nother ballgame there.
Now, I should point out that Maureen was a Catholic school girl. Emphasis on grammar.
Oh, I mean, hey, if I had to learn my grammar at the penalty of the nuns with their rulers and writing sentences 1,000 times because you got something wrong, I think everybody should learn their grammar. It's only fair.
And you can diagram a sentence.
I sure can. With the best of them.
Do you know I don't know how to diagram a sentence?
That's because you were a public school kid.
I have no clue. All that I see is, somebody writes, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And then Maureen is out there with chalk making lines.
But
this is a verb. This is the split infinitive.
It helps if you understand it. It really helps you figure out the correct grammar if you're unsure.
The thing that bothers me most is what we've done to the language. English is a beautiful language when spoken correctly. It is one of the hardest languages in the world to learn because there are so many words that are spelled differently and that have different meanings.
And also certain combinations of letters are pronounced differently.
And then we have all of these idiomatic expressions, which I guess they have in all languages.
Probably.
But now, when did the word street become street?
Well, any STRs. Straight, street,
struggle,
structure, stressed. I can't even say it.
There's people on television that are newscasters and commentators, and I hear them talking about, the struggle. And I'm like, wait a minute, you went to Northwestern, you have a degree in journalism, you worked your way up to the network, and you're on here saying the struggle, the stronger. I mean, where is this coming from? And what are some of the other ones that are bothering us?
Well, the shortening of things, like, oh, that's so adorbs.
Yeah.
That one, shortening the words.
Yeah, folks, it's adorable. When did that become adorbs?
Or want to come with?
Yeah.
Not come with me, or you're invited to. No, you want to come with? Come with what? Where? Yeah.
And I don't know where these changes are coming from, but it's distressing. And it's becoming the new normal, and it's coming out of the mouths of people that you would think would know better.
Sometimes, yeah.
People with degrees and advanced degrees and people in media. And I don't know where this is. I don't think it's not going away anytime soon. That's for sure. It's if anything, I think it's going to get a hell of a lot worse.
What's terrible is that now there's no reference point for good grammar. Even commercials, billboards, it's rampant. And I know, like when I was a kid, if I wasn't sure about the right word for a sentence, I had a sense of like, well, that doesn't sound right. That was my reference point. It was what sounds like it's right. And it was at least a good guess. Nowadays, the kids don't have that because what they're hearing is wrong.
And the kids today don't have the social skills because they're always on the damn phone, on the device, texting.
Right.
They could be in the same room with one another, and they're not speaking their You see the thumbs gone. And by the way, I can't do the thing with the thumbs
No, my thumbs are too
on the
fat.
phone. I can't. Mine are too old. I can't do the thing with the thumbs. I have to use the index hunt and peck method.
Right.
But the thumbs with me and the cell phone, no, it ain't going to happen. And you see the young people today, and they're sitting next to one another, and they're texting. Now, I think sometimes they're just trying to put one over on you.
Maybe.
Hey, look at Uncle Pete. Doesn't he look like a jackass with that hat on? What do you think? And, of course, they're not going to say it in front of Uncle Pete, but they might text it to one another.
In fact, they probably do.
Oh, there goes Dad again about something else. So I find a lot of the young people today, they don't have communication skill. And when you talk to them, you get these 1 or 2 word answers, or they can't look you in the eye.
Well, that's a whole other thing than looking in the eye. But, yeah, I mean, they're in like no social graces, no filters. They're just used to, writing everything down in text.
Yeah, yeah. And they don't even teach them handwriting anymore. They don't teach them cursive.
No cursive.
Yeah. So what does a millennial do now when they have to sign a check? What do they make an X or something or what?
They can write, but they don't necessarily write in cursive. They can print. Some of them know cursive, but they just do it. They come up with a signature. Let's put it that way, and then they use that.
Because I know one of our local radio stations the other day had a discussion on should cursive be brought back into the schools. And I didn't listen long enough to hear what the discussion turned out to be, but that was one of the topics. And I think it should be brought back.
I think so. I mean, that was like a rite of passage learning cursive. That was like you were the big kids. The babies in the kindergarten and first grade printed, and when you got to second and third grade and started cursive, you were like, that much closer to being an adult.
Now, we were taught what, the Palmer method? Is that what they called it?
That's what, yeah.
Was that the method, or were there other methods?
I'm not really sure. Palmer was a publishing company that came out with handwriting learning books and exercises and things like that. And there was a certain way of making the different letters. And there are different ones. Like if you look at the letter F and the letter T and an R, there's many different ways of writing it. Some are fancier than others. Some are nothing more than almost like printing it with like a little upsweep. So I don't know if that was Palmer's doing, or if there are, other alphabets that are like copyrighted. I don't know. I
just remember you had these booklets, and you had to draw ovals.
Right.
Right? Oval, 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 until you were like ready to scream.
Well, it was to get your handwriting like loosened. Like I remember this is really stupid, but there was one, and there would be like around and around and around and around and up, Mr. Push and Pull. I don't know why I remember that.
Let's bring that back into the schools. That's what I say. I did all of those ovals, and my handwriting still sucks, as you know.
Well, that's because you didn't have a nun standing over you with a ruler ready to crack your knuckles.
Well, that's true. That's true.
See, that's a whole Catholic versus public thing.
Yeah, my handwriting to this day, half the times I can't understand what I wrote down. I'll write stuff down at work, and then when I go to read it,
it's like, what is that?
What the hell did I just write here? So, yeah, Maureen and I say, bring cursive back into the schools. And I don't know, do they even teach literature to the kids anymore in the schools?
Well, I never got literature.
I had it in like 7th grade, 8th grade.
I didn't get that till like I was in high school. We had reading, and there were like little short stories that you read, and they'd have comprehensive questions, and a Think and Do book. Did you have the Think and Do book?
Think and Do, yes.
I don't remember what
that was tied into the reading program,
right,
wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Because like you'd have a reader, you'd read a story, and then you'd do the exercises and then Think and Do.
We had Dick, Jane, and Sally.
Well, I was Catholic school, so we had John, Jean, and Judy.
Well, that's because they didn't want you to say Dick. See, that was the thing in the Catholic school. That didn't go over too well.
Well, it had to be a saint's name, you know? Oh, Peter.
Yeah. So we had. What was the name of those the reading books? Think and Do was the workbook that accompanied the reading book.
Well, it was. Now again, I'm not sure about the Catholic school version versus the public school, but in the Catholic school, it's the Cathedral Basic Readers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, we didn't call it that.
I'm sure you didn't, but I don't know what the name was.
So we want to know what you think about some of the things that we have talked about today. And do you like the podcast? We have already set up.
Be kind.
Be nice.
My feelings get hurt easily.
This is our first podcast, and yeah, you guys suck. I don't know what you did before you did podcasting, but you know what? You should go back to it.
Don't quit your day job.
Yeah. So drop us a line, and the mailing address, the email address is Pete and Maureen podcast at gmail.com. I always get confused. Is it gmail.net? It's gmail.com. Pete and Maureen, and it's A-N-D, not the ampersand. And it's our new ampersand.
See, there you go.
I knew it, and I didn't even go to Catholic school, and I knew ampersand. So Pete and Maureen podcast at
gmail.com.
Or is it Yahoo? No, wait a minute.
Oh, we're really prepared, aren't we?
I really have my stuff together. No, it's Yahoo. It's the same thing that you're on. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yahoo.
Then Yahoo.
Pete and Maureen podcast
at Yahoo.
If you folks think I'm going to go back and edit this, you got another thing coming. We're just going to let it roll on this show, baby. I've got no time to get into post-production. All of you fancy podcast guys who lay the thing out with the graphs and the waveforms. Well, I took a breath here. Maybe I should edit that. Oh, this is where I sneezed. No. We do the show in real time.
It's how we roll.
And if we put it in the crapper, it goes in the crapper. That's all there is to it. So
listen, because you never know. We just might.
Pete, we already did. Pete and Maureen podcast at yahoo.com. And send us a line. Tell us if you like it, you don't like it, and maybe respond to some of the things that we talked about today. Are you an angry person? What are you mad about? Think about it. We got through the Great Recession of, what was it, 85 or something that we had, that terrible recession?
Somewhere around there.
Some people were calling it a depression. I had an acquaintance who was a Wall Streeter, and he said to me, Pete, it's a depression. Nobody wants to use that word, but it's a depression. Anyway, we got through it, and generations before us, God bless them, got through the Great Depression. And this country got through 2 world wars. It got through a bloody civil war. There wasn't a damn thing that was civil about it. And we got through Vietnam.
And Korea.
And
Desert Storm.
You know, we got through all this stuff. And here we are. The sun comes up in the morning. Mm-hmm. The economy is good. We have the best unemployment figures that we have seen in a long time. I don't know if that is attributed to the president. I suspect not. I don't think that a president has any control over the economy. I think economy is a cyclical thing. It's going to do what it's going to do. It's driven by market forces. And the economy is going to tank sometimes. Sometimes it's going to tank real bad. And other times it's going to come roaring back, as they say it's doing now. And if you're lucky enough to be sitting in the White House at that time, then you get to go out there and take the bow, even if you had nothing to do with it. And of course, if it goes the other way and it goes in the tank, you have to take the blame because you were the guy in charge, and everybody figures, well, you can make anything happen. You can fix anything. That ain't the way it works. So let us know. Are you mad? You know, the times are good for a lot of us, not for everybody, but for a lot of us, times are good. America, calm down. Take a chill pill, you know? Relax, love each other, appreciate each other, and write to us at Pete and Maureen podcast at yahoo.com, and then be listening again next week when Maureen and I come back to the microphones, whether you like it or not, and do another round of mixing it up with Pete and Maureen. I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
And we say so long for now. Thanks for listening.